Back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Tyler Jamison of Port Huron Northern boys basketball. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Coming off a pretty good start to the year. Got a pretty tough win against a pretty good Hamtramck team. What was that like getting that big win?
It was great. Coming into the game, we knew that Hamtramck is a team that can really speed people up. We saw in their previous games. There's very few teams in the state who have the ability to go on runs like they do. So it wasn't really a question of whether or not they're going to go on a run. It's how we're going to respond. And that's kind of how the game was. It was a game of runs. They went on a run early, went up double digits in the second quarter. We came back, we went up, they came back. So, it's a lot of highs and lows in the game, but at the end to squeak out the win, it was very, very fun.
Yeah. So kind of going in and you're going to get a few days off, but obviously not as I know the coaches aren't worried about these few days besides Christmas because more things are open, so you could it's easier to stay in shape during New Year's than Christmas.
Yeah.
But overall, just to get a few days off, kind of recharge the batteries a little bit, and then get ready for probably as we get into getting into the Tuesday Friday grind of things.
Yeah, it's very important to get this couple of days off. Gonna do a lot of resting, you know, um, do some lifting, a little recovery lifting, probably some yoga. Just try to get the body back feeling good because the last week was a little bit of a gauntlet. We played Wednesday, Friday, two really good teams. The games were separated by a total of 4 points, so we're all kind of feeling it, and it'd be good to get back into things.
Okay, so I want to ask, kind of go back on something that you did. Last year, I know you hit the 1,000 point total. Did you ever think like when you started playing basketball, do you ever think you'd get 1,000 points in your high school career?
It's always something that I'd hoped to do, but I knew that it's a huge milestone, something that's very difficult to do. So I kind of wasn't super like it's make or break thing in my career, but it's been a goal of mine for as long as I can remember to get that 1,000 points. And there's only a few players in our school history who've done it. So it's a really cool thing to be a part of that conversation.
And this year, you have a little bit of special. Obviously, we know obviously your dad's the head coach, but you're also you get to play. You're a senior, but you get to play with your little brother. Of course, who's a freshman this year, and he's doing pretty well. Kind of talk about what how Alex has done this year.
Alex has been great. Well, we have a great relationship. I love that kid. We have that kind of connection that a lot of people don't have, and it just comes from playing with and against each other for years. And he's been great. He's shown a lot of poise for a freshman. A lot of freshmen come in, they get a little timid in big moments. And even when I was a freshman, I remember kind of, some of those games being a little shaky, being a little scared. And Alex has combated it well. He's played amazing in our biggest games. He's had his best games, and I think that's a telling sign of the kind of mentality that he has.
Yeah. Just to get like the start that you guys are on right now. This could be a big year for you. As this is kind of like this is it. This is your senior year, so it's kind of like I want to go out and do a lot of big things. What has it been like to have the start that you guys have had?
It's been great. Last year it was a lot different. Last year we went to Ferndale and lost by 40 to them at their showcase, and I remember walking out of that feeling like, oh, this is not a fun feeling. And this year we went to Ferndale and we beat a really good Skyline team. So it's just a much different feeling, and it feels like we're going to continue to get better. We're a very young team. We're going to get better every single day, and I'm just excited to keep improving. And I think we can make a run this year. I think this could be our year.
Let's talk about you for a second. I know. Well, let's get this question out of the way. I know. I'm not sure when you decided that we haven't ever talked to you. But let's talk about your future for next year. You got that stapled out. Just kind of talk about getting that process all set. It's all set to go.
Yeah, it was a very difficult process for me. A lot of times, it was difficult to enjoy. Going into my senior year, my junior year summer, it's kind of a lot of the big time AAU stuff. I broke my foot, so I was out all summer, and I didn't really get that recruiting that I had hoped to get. And thankfully, FTU reached out to me. They came to an open gym. They had me on campus, and I really like what they're doing out there, and they really like me. So that was something that I thought that I didn't need. I shouldn't wait for. I thought at that moment I was like, let's do this. Let's commit. I found the place I want to be, and it's a great feeling to know that you have it sorted out. You're going someplace where they want you, and you want to be there. And I think that's taken the kind of the stress off of this year a lot. In the past, I've kind of been worried about, oh, who's coming to the game, trying to get coaches to come out. And this year, I know I've got it all ironed out. So it's a great feeling, and I'm really excited.
Let me ask you this. So let's go inside your head a little bit. How do you mentally prepare for a game?
So I've got a whole routine that I do. I like to, I try to spend as much time focusing as possible. I'm a big fan of the visualizing, um, the game. If it's a school day, I'll come home, relax for a little bit. I'll do some stretching, some light stretching, a few hours for the game, just kind of get the blood flowing. And then before the game, I have this warm. I have a warm up that I do. Just trying to get ready. Mentally, there's a lot of games where you aren't going to be optimally ready. Especially during school, you're going to feel a little sick. You're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. But it's just I think that having that routine is very important, and it's something that kind of gets me prepared.
So kind of talk, and then just kind of we haven't really talked about you guys, but outside of you and your brother, who's kind of also who have you kind of noticed that's really kind of standing out? And I know it's hard to say. I know everyone's kind of put in a role, which they have. But overall, who are some
Yeah.
of the guys that maybe the people that may not know much about Port Huron boys basketball, just kind of talk about a little bit.
So we start three freshmen, a junior, and then me, who's a senior. Our three freshmen, Cam Haryu, Amir Moreland, and my brother Alex Jamison. They've all been amazing this year. Very poised. I mean, they've been incredible. Everything you can ask from a freshman. Luke Maher is our other starter. He's a returner from last year. He was all league as a sophomore last year. Can shoot the lights out. And then we've got a lot of key players that come off the bench. Charlie Dunkel, Jacob Clark, Kanye Cole, Aiden Wynn, and those guys, they can do it all for us. And I think we're a deep team this year. We've got a lot of guys who can step in, and we've also got a lot of different positions that can play. We've got a lot of bigs on the bench. We've got four kids who are 6'5" and above that are on our bench, but we start kind of a smaller lineup, so we are adjustable. I think that allows us to kind of combat different styles of play. For example, Hamtramck, very quick, very fast. We kind of went with our smaller lineup more so. Whereas when we played like Skyline, they've got, I mean, I think it's 4 or 5 kids who are 6'6" and above. So we kind of went with the bigger lineup a little bit, and it just allows us to play against anyone.
Yeah. And then let me ask you this, and then we'll get into some other things. Let's just kind of preview your upcoming schedule for these next few weeks.
So we start league play this year. We're in the MAC White. So our first league game is at home on Friday against Mott, and then I mean, there's no nights off in our league. We've got a lot of good teams. Anyone can beat anyone. So I'm really excited for that.
That sounds like pretty much every league I cover. No nights
Yeah,
off. Anybody can beat anybody. Well, it's high school basketball. So,
exactly. When you got a bunch of 14 to 18-year-olds, anything can happen.
all right. Let's get to know you, Tyler. How about that? Okay, so what is your favorite TV/streaming show that you're really into right now, if you have the time for it?
My favorite TV show.
TV or
I don't
stream,
know.
Netflix, anything?
We watch mostly Netflix, but we've got all the streaming services like we've got the Netflix, the Hulu's, the Primes, the Peacock. We've got all that stuff. We had Disney Plus for a second, but we don't watch a ton of shows. More so movies. Um, yeah, I don't know what my favorite show is. I can tell you my favorite movie, uh, Talladega Nights, the greatest movie of all time. Shake and
Nice,
bake.
nice, nice. Obviously, of course, you'd say that because that kind of gets into the other sport that I do that people know.
Yeah,
For people that might not be familiar with it, I cover NASCAR as well. So that's That's always good. So, okay, basketball superstitions. Do you have any?
I have to have Jimmy John's before every game.
Okay.
In my high school career, I've had Jimmy John's before every single game, except for one. That game was the Port Huron High game at SC4 my freshman year. I did not have a single field goal that game. I had 5 points, all free throws, and I shot one of the worst air balls in my life.
Okay. Um, is that Alex's thing too, or does he have a different thing?
I think I've kind of rubbed it off on him. He goes with me to get the Jimmy John's, so I think
You guys are
that's
brothers, so
yeah. So I guess that's just how it works.
you
We
guys.
always get the same sub too.
Okay, what do you get?
So I get pretty much the same thing everywhere I get subs, but I get some sort of Italian. I get the Vito, no tomatoes and no onions. I don't do those.
Nice, good job. Um, so let's see. That was fun. A favorite sports team to root for?
I'm a hometown guy. Well, Michigan State is my favorite team. Obviously FDU now, but I'm go green. And then I like all our local sports teams. I'm a Pistons guy. I'm a Lions guy. I'm still waiting for the day that those teams can make some runs, but it'll be that much sweeter when we are good.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Favorite vacation spot?
Probably we've been to Panama City Beach a lot. My family used to have a condo down there, and so I've been there a handful of times. It's a really cool place.
Yeah. Favorite basketball player growing up?
Probably Luka Doncic.
Okay.
That's more so recent, not as much as when I was younger, but like I like Luka a lot. He's great.
Yeah. I mean, did you see what he did a few nights ago?
Yeah, 60 20 10 is impressive.
Yeah.
I think he'll be the greatest or one of the best players in the world pretty soon if he's not already.
Yeah. Okay. And what's something people might not know about you?
Um, I I take school very seriously as well. I have a 4.7 GPA. I'm our class president, so I think people kind of see me as a basketball player a lot. But I try to be well rounded in other facets of life as well.
Yeah. Of course, you get to officiate graduation, so that's pretty exciting too. So
Yeah, I'm that speech is going to be that's we'll see how that goes.
are you still trying to work on that and trying to prepare for that?
Yeah, I'm not terrible at like speaking in front of people, but I don't know. I've never had to write a speech or anything before, so I'm gonna have to get some help
All right.
from our speech teacher.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck the rest of the year. And we will definitely have you on again sometime.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I look forward to it.